Welcome to Marrying an Immigrant, Now What? Immigration Basics that every couple should know. My name is Sophie Alcorn, and I am the founding partner of Alcorn Immigration Law. And this is my wonderful partner, Anita Kumrikian. And we're here to tell you the ins and outs of what you need to know if you're a citizen or a green card holder and you are getting married to somebody who needs a green card to be able to live here and work here permanently. As the daughter of an immigrant and an immigration lawyer myself, I know how important this is to people's lives.
Thank you, Sophie. As what our goal here at Alcorn Immigration is we aspire to empower global leaders to influence change regardless of their geographic location, citizenship, place of birth, any of that. As an immigrant myself, I know how overwhelming it can be to be in your shoes. My family and I, we all went through this, and as the director of Alcorn Immigration's Family Immigration Group, it's my privilege to ensure that we guide our clients through this process in the most successful and compassionate way.
Yeah. So today what we're going to be talking about is a lot of nuts and bolts about marriage immigration basics. How do you know what the right questions are to ask when you're going down this road? Can you do it by yourself, or should you talk to a lawyer? What are the warning signs? And what's been going on lately with changes under the current administration? So for some of this, so I'll be asking Anita questions. I'll be pretending sometimes like I'm an immigrant or like I'm marrying an immigrant and I need help, and she will guide us. So we'll also be available to you guys if you would like to follow up. You can always reach us. Our website is alcorn.law, L-A-W. You can email us at help, H-E-L-P, at alcorn, A-L-C-O-R-N.L-A-W. We'll be happy to talk to you and answer your questions.
Yes.
So Anita, what are the different types of marriage-based green cards and visas?
There's a lot out there, and all of it really depends on your individual facts, whether or not you're in the United States already, whether you're outside of the United States, whether you're married, whether you're engaged, how long you've been married for. But the two most common types of these types of pathways is that somebody's in the United States already, they entered through a border, we're given permission to be in the United States already, they marry a United States citizen, and then anywhere between 8 months to a year and a half after a long, kind of confusing process. You get your green card after you attend an interview at USCIS.
And what's that process called?
That is called a marriage-based adjustment of status when you're married to a United States citizen.
Okay, so what's it called if I'm an American and I marry somebody in South Africa and he's there and I want him to come here?
So that process is done while the individual is abroad, the spouse who's immigrating to the U.S. That's called consular processing. A lot of times online you can find this. This is called the CR or the IR category, which means that it's an immediate relative that you're trying to bring over to the United States, being your spouse.
And so that's where they actually go apply for a visa to come in here?
Yes, they enter the U.S. with an immigrant visa. They attended an interview at the consulate or U.S. embassy in their home country.
Okay. And what do I do if I met somebody who I'm super in love with, but we haven't gotten married yet, and I think I really love them, but I need a little bit more time to get to know them and figure it out. But like, how can I do that if they're in Switzerland and I'm in California?
You can do that. You'll only get 90 days to figure out if you want to marry this person. But this is called the K1 visa route, where if you're not yet married, you're engaged, and you've actually in life met this person at least 2 times, the person in the United States can apply for a K1 visa to bring their
And
love.
and that's if I want to also be on a reality TV show, 90 Day Fiance.
90 Day Fiance. It is nothing like that.
Okay,
But
cool.
check it out. It's on TLC, I think.
And we'll do our own reality show
Yes.
here. Okay, so that's really confusing. How do I know what to do?
Being in the time that we are with technology,
Yeah.
you can Google it, but honestly, you will just confuse yourself even more.
Yeah.
There's a lot of resources online, but it just requires so much time investment to make sure that you're filling out the right forms, you're going through this process correctly, and in my opinion, that investment is not worth that time investment is not worth it, because you don't know if you're doing it right.
Yeah.
Most of the time you're like, is this the right form?
Right.
What documents do I have to submit? Where do I submit it? So what you should do is contact an attorney, find somebody who you're comfortable with, confident in their services, and work with them, have them guide you, have them help you, because they're professionals, they've done it before.
Well, what if I just don't want to do that, and like, if I do it by myself, will the government help me if I screw up?
No, there's new policies with the government under USCIS that if you try to figure it out yourself and you screw up, they'll deny your application. Before USCIS was a little more gracious and patient, in that if you submitted something and you did it incorrectly, they would send what's called a request for evidence, an RFE, saying, thank you for submitting this one portion of the 17 different things that I need from you. Here is a list of everything else that you need to submit to us within 87 days approximately, or else we will deny the case. Now, if you don't submit everything, all of the initial documents that you do need to submit to USCIS for them to be able to make a decision on your case, they will just return everything back to you flat out and just reject you.
Oh, okay. So here's another thing. I have a friend who came here a long time ago on a visa, but she was supposed to leave and she didn't. But now she's in love with an American. Can she do anything?
I would give your friend my contact information. Have them call me, and I'll talk to them. I'll see what we can do and see what the correct pathway is, if any, for your friend, and we can work together to help her through it.
Okay, but is it any different if, let's say, well, I know somebody else who was brought here across the border as a child without a visa, and so they've grown up here, and now they're in love with an American and they want a green card. Can they do it?
They can actually.
Okay.
As long as that person, again, it's really complicated, as long as that person has not left since they entered the United States initially, they can file a specific kind of application where they're asking USCIS to forgive them for these many years of visa overstay, because they're now married to a United States citizen, or they're married to a lawful permanent resident, and if the person has to return back to their home country, the immigrant, the applicant, then the U.S. citizen or the lawful permanent resident would suffer extreme hardship in the eyes of USCIS, which is actually pretty difficult to prove, but we do it successfully. So again,
so there is a chance, there is a hope for
Mm-hmm.
somebody who just crossed the border without
Yes.
permission. Okay, what if I'm in love with somebody, I'm a citizen, what if I'm in love with somebody who maybe has had some run-ins with the law in the past? They're great now, but they have some incidents in their history. What if I really like bad boys?
What you gonna do? It could be okay, depending on the crimes. That does require a little bit of legal research.
But sometimes you've been able to do that?
Many times we've been able to do that. It doesn't automatically disqualify. your bad boy lover.
Yeah.
But it's possible.
Okay, and then what if me as the U.S. citizen, what if I did something bad in my past? Are there any crimes that I could have done that would present a challenge for me to bring my spouse over here?
Most crimes, most of the time, they really don't care you as the United States citizen petitioner what crimes you've committed, unless it's a really, really bad crime and it's rape or sexual assault related.
Okay.
That's called the Adam Walsh Act.
Okay.
Again, requires legal research.
Yeah. Okay, so anything in my past regarding a sexual crime, like child pornography, any of that, definitely talk to a lawyer
Yes.
about. Okay. Okay. On the note of illegal activities, marijuana is legal in California now, so does that mean that my fiance and I can smoke pot on the weekends?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
So
Okay.
sorry. No.
Bummer.
While marijuana is legal in California, it is still federally illegal.
Okay.
And since immigration is federal, then we have to follow the federal laws when it comes to that.
Okay, cool. Something else I've been worrying about is I see all of these movies about people trying to get green cards, and they have really, really freaky interviews, really crazy things that happen. The people are always like alone and trying to jump through all these hoops, and there's really crazy questions. And is that what it's like? Do I have to go through that interview?
You could.
Oh.
But so it like most things, it's not like what you see in the movies. Hollywood does a good job of making things dramatizing. Thank you. See, I told you I'm an immigrant.
That's why we love you.
So when you first go to when your case is first going through, the first initial interview that you go to with USCIS, hopefully is your last. If you go to that interview unprepared, without good legal representation, and you fail that, and the USCIS officer that you're in front of thinks that your marriage is fake, that it's a sham, that's when they could schedule you for a second interview.
Oh, okay. Do we have to go by ourselves?
No. In fact, we never send any of our clients by ourselves. We always like to make sure that we, at Alcorn Immigration, we go with our clients to these interviews because you never know what will happen.
What if I just have like a normal boring case and we followed all the rules, but I'm just have anxiety and OCD?
You still, even if it's
Okay.
a straight old boring case, regardless
Okay.
of whether it's a very simple case to whether the most complicated cases, we go with our clients to all interviews because you never know what will happen. There's been incidences in the past where somebody goes to a USCIS interview thinking everything is fine and dandy, and
huge problems.
Huge problems come up. There's been a few where none of our cases, but where ICE actually has come and arrested the individual that they were going to go to an interview for. So it's not worth it to risk it. But so with the first interview, you're in a room with the officer with your spouse. You're not separated yet where they ask what side of the bed does he sleep on, what color is her toothbrush, none of that.
Is the house pale blue or taupe?
Yes. What time does your spouse come home on average? I didn't know, I'm still at work then.
Yeah.
So it's none of that. What the first interview is it's more conversational. They're asking you about your relationship, but again, if they suspect that you're faking it, that it's not a real relationship, they will schedule you for a second interview. They will come to your homes and go through all of your drawers to see everything, to make sure there's pictures of your relationship on the walls.
Wow. Okay. So I've heard that some people get 2-year green cards and some people get 10-year green cards. How do I know which one we're gonna get?
If your relationship has not yet passed the 2-year wedding anniversary, you will only get a green card that's valid for 2 years.
Okay.
If your marriage has already passed that, once your green card is issued, then you're issued the permanent 10-year green card.
Okay.
If you're only given a 2-year, what's called a conditional green card, you have to go through a process called the removal of conditions of your green card, and you show that your marriage was entered into in good faith, you're still married, and it's the real deal.
Okay.
Another question that a lot of people ask is, what if I got married because I really, really love this person, a year and a half into it?
What if we got divorced?
You get divorced. There's still hope.
Okay.
We've done many cases where the people get divorced, regardless of what happened, as long as initially when you first get married, your marriage was entered into in good faith, and we're able to prove that. That's all USCIS wants to know.
Okay. Okay. I think another thing that I hear happens a lot is if when my green card comes in the mail, if it has a typo, am I supposed to do anything about that?
Yes, let your attorney know. On the green card, you want to make sure your name is spelled correctly, your date of birth is correct, the A number is correct, the category that your green card is issued is correct. Whether or not you're supposed to be getting the 2-year versus a 10-year green card. Make sure all of that is correct. If it's wrong, contact an attorney because you're going to have to contact USCIS to make that correction.
Okay. So we have this president who's kind of against immigration, or maybe wants only a small amount of legal immigration. Have they changed anything that will affect me getting married? Or are they only, trying to build a wall for undocumented people?
No, they actually are. So in addition to what I mentioned earlier, that RFE, where instead of sending you
for evidence,
of sending you the request for evidence, they just deny your case. In addition to that, which that was really, really huge.
Yeah.
In addition to that, there's also USCIS is now given the authority and ability to issue what's called NTAs, notice to appears. If you go to an interview, whether it's a green card interview or even a citizenship interview, which we're not going to get into during this conversation, maybe we can discuss another time, but they will take away, they could disqualify you if you're inadmissible, and they'll send you to deportation court.
Okay. For a deportation trial.
Deportation trial.
Which means more time, more lawyers, more money.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the new notice to appear memo.
Okay. Have there been any other changes?
A few other ones, kind of minimal, with medical exams. When you're getting your green card, either in the US or even if you're doing it through the consular processing route, you have to have a medical exam done. Did you know that?
Huh.
Yes, you have to have a medical exam done by a USCIS or government approved doctor.
Do I have typhoid? Do I have syphilis? Do I have
tuberculosis?
Tattoos?
Yes, all of that fun stuff.
Okay.
So before, those medical exams were valid for 1 year, but now they're only valid for 60 days. So you have to be very cautious of when you get this medical exam done. Is your case ready to be filed? If it's not, don't get your medical exam done.
Okay.
So little things like that somebody wouldn't think about knowing.
You wouldn't know if you're not doing this every day. Okay.
Yes.
What other thing is, what if, I heard there was something recently like, okay, what if I'm not a citizen? What if I have a green card?
Yes.
But I got married after my company got me my green card, but now I'm in love with somebody who's also from Taiwan like me. Is it really gonna take like 3 years for my fiance or my future bride to get a green card?
Yes, it does take a while, and that's connected to what's called the Visa Bulletin, issued by the Department of State. And essentially what that says is that every year, or every month and every year, per category and sometimes per country, there's a quota of how many green cards the government can issue to individuals.
Okay.
And recently, a couple of years ago, they broke down this Visa Bulletin in 2 tables of A, final action dates, and then B, filing dates.
Okay.
That second filing date, that means that you can file your application. You won't necessarily get the green card right away,
Okay.
but you can file that application, and by filing that application, you kind of do get a couple of benefits.
Because that's when I heard I can start to get in line for my work permit, right?
Yes.
Okay.
If you're in the United States, yes,
Okay.
you can get your work permit as well as international travel authorization.
Okay. That's important
So
for my
that,
fiance.
yes,
Yeah.
it's huge.
So even if the green card is still going to take a long time, we could do the adjustment of status part,
Yes.
so she could start getting her
Yes.
work permit sooner.
Yes. So
Okay.
that was a huge jump recently.
Okay. That's
In
cool.
May of 2019,
Yeah.
that B category or
Mhm.
that B table chart was, I think it was January of 2018. In June, it's jumping up to March of 2019. That's
Wow.
a 14-month jump, which is
Wow. So
I've
a
never
lot
seen
more
that.
people get to have their turn.
yes to
That's
get
great.
them to start working here.
Yeah. That's awesome.
While their cases are
Okay.
pending, which is exciting.
Cool. So I also was thinking about hiring an attorney. I'm not sure. What are the right questions to ask when I'm interviewing? Because I want somebody who I get along with, who knows this, who understands it. But I'm not a lawyer. How do I even know what to ask?
So I would say the first thing that you want to make sure is that, I mean, they're a reputable attorney who knows what they're doing. So check them out
So
online.
experience.
Yeah, experience. Look at their reviews. See what sometimes other people think of them. You can go on Google. You can go on Yelp. And then after that, of course, talk to the attorney. Ask them questions about your case and see if you're getting just that attention, that knowledge, and that compassion that you need to work with somebody so closely.
Yeah.
Because it really is it's a long process, and you don't want to have to spend a year, 2, 3 years sometimes working with an attorney that you're not really comfortable with. So that's really important. You want to make sure that you're working with somebody who's smart, who wins, who's compassionate, who will answer your emails when you send them an email, who's compassionate. Did I already say compassionate?
You said compassionate, but I'm glad. You're the queen of
I
compassion.
am.
Okay, wonderful.
But yeah.
Would you like to add anything else for our audience?
Yes. It's a scary process, but you don't have to do this alone. There's so many people out there who can help you, who can guide you, but just make sure that you're working with somebody who knows what they're doing, because you don't want to
go through 2 years of work to find out that now you're facing deportation, and you have to restart. It's a huge pain. Yeah. We're here if you want to ask us any questions. You can find us online, alcorn.law, or you can email us at help@alcorn.law. And you can call us at 855-546-0015. We're here for you, and we'd love to be a resource. So we wish you the very best in all of your endeavors.
Yes.
And we want to empower you to live the life that you and your family dream of. So thank you for watching.
Thank you.